Welcome back, students, to our new explanation video. In the last explanation video, we went through few important topics of this chapter, number 1, real numbers. We discussed about the fundamental theorem of arithmetic. We also discussed about few problems of exercise 1.2, and I hope that you all have went through that. So in this explanation video, in the next explanation video, means this one, we will be understanding mainly the concept of rational and irrational numbers. So the main topic of today's discussion in this explanation video is rational and irrational numbers. And the main thing which we will be learning here is that how to prove a given number irrational. Okay. So before we start, it is very important for us to know the basic definition of rational number or irrational number. What is rational number, students? Rational number is any number which can be expressed in the form of p by q, where p and q are any integers and q not equals to 0. So if I ask you what is the definition of rational numbers? Rational numbers are the numbers which can be expressed in the form of p by q. That means if I can express any number in the form of p by q, where q is not equals to 0 and p and q are co-primes. What is co-prime? Co-prime means of HCF, highest common factor of p and q, should be 1. That means HCF of p and q should be 1. So we can say that then only the number is rational number. So this is the important conditions which needs to be fulfilled in order to for a number to be a rational. That means the denominator should not be equal to 0, because as we know that if the denominator is 0, the number will be infinity. Undefined, you can also say that, infinity or undefined. So the denominator should not be 0, and the highest common factor of both the numerator and denominator should be 1. That is, the number should be co-prime. Then only then we will say that that is a rational number. And irrational number, again, it's just opposite of rational number. Irrational number cannot be expressed in the form of p by q. That means any number, if you cannot express in the form of p by q, where p and q are integers, you should remember that p and q, it's not like it can be any number. It can only be integer. So p and q should belongs to I, integer. Then only we can say that it is a rational number. Otherwise, if it doesn't follow any of the condition among this, then the number is irrational number. Basically what happens, an irrational number, like there are many examples of irrational numbers. Suppose root over 5, then root over 3, then root over 7, any number inside the root whose perfect value we don't know. Those numbers are called irrational number. Now if I take root over 4, it cannot be irrational, because root over 4 can be expressed as 2. So we cannot say root over 4 as irrational, as root over 4 is equivalent to 2, and 2 can be expressed as 2 by 1, and so it is satisfying all the condition of the rational number, and hence root 4 equals to 2 by 4 is a rational number. Okay, belongs to rational number set. But these are the examples of, basically the main examples of irrational number. Irrational number examples include this also: 5 minus 2 root 3 or 4 root 3. So you can have 5, you can have 2, but any number along with that, if it is root 3 is present in any of the number, then togetherly if I combine all the number and create a single number, then it will be a irrational number. And hence, like similarly, 4 root 3, 4 alone if it is written, then it is no doubt it is rational. But if I alone write, if I write root 3, then is also irrational. This is irrational. But if I combine this both, like in multiplication form, if I write 4 root 3, then 4 root 3 is said to be irrational number, because 4 root 3 cannot be expressed in the form of p by q, where p and q are integers. Remember, p and q should be integer. In that way you have to express. If you cannot express, then that number cannot be said as a rational number. Then that number will be an irrational number. Okay, so this was the main concept of rational and irrational number. All thing lies in the fact that it should be expressed in the form of P by Q, where Q is not equals to 0 and P and Q should be, HCF should be 1 and P and Q are integers. So if any number satisfying these few conditions, then only and only then it will be a rational number. Okay, now next question comes in our mind is that, students, that like if I give you any number and if I ask you to prove it irrational, how will we do that? Suppose we are, after this discussion, it's quite clear to you that root 5 is irrational. It's very clear to you that root 5 is irrational. Now the next question is, if you are asked to prove this root 5 as irrational, then what we will do? So for doing that, we will be taking the help of contradiction. This is one of the very systematic way of proving any statement irrational, by taking the help of contradiction, by taking the help of assumption and contradiction. We will be assuming something and later on we will be proving that our assumption was actually wrong, because finally we will be reaching at some contradiction, and because of that contradiction, why will we reach at some contradiction? Because our assumption was actually wrong, and with the help of this process we will be proving that root 5 or any number, irrational number, as irrational. So we will be that will be the main topic of our discussion for today in our next part of our explanation video. Before I go further, before I go into the main part of what I said just now, I want to say one theorem to you, because that theorem will also be required, will also be used when I will be proving root 5 as irrational. So while proving any number as irrational, this particular theorem will be used at the at some level. So I need to say this theorem to you before I start the proof of these statements. The theorem says that if P, I repeat, if P is a prime number, if P is a prime number, and if P divides A square, if P is a prime number and if P divides A square, then P also divides A. That means if any prime number is dividing any other number, like if P is a prime number and if P divides P divides A square, where A is any positive integer, okay, where A is any positive integer and P is a prime number, and if P divides A square, then P also divides A, where A is any positive integer and P is a prime number. So this statement will also be used. I am just giving you a very simple example so that the theorem is quite clear to you. Let us take a very simple example. Like we know that 8 square, 2 divides 8 square. 8 square divides 2, because 8 square is 64 and 64 is divisible by 2. So I can say that 2 divides 8 square. That means I can also say this implies 2 divides 8. Right? So if I say 2 divides 8 square, then I can also come to a conclusion that 2 divides 8. So this was the main theorem which we will be using while proving this statement. Okay, students. So now let's move on to our explanation based on exercise solving. We will be now solving few sums of our next exercise 1.3. Let us begin with our first question of exercise 1.3 itself. This will help you to understand the basic concept of how we will be proving a statement irrational. The question says that we need to prove root 5 as irrational. Okay, as I said just now that we will be taking the help of assumption and contradiction. So we will be assuming that we need to prove root 5 as irrational. We will be taking as root 5 be rational. So we will be writing as proof, let root 5 be a rational number. Let us take root 5 be a rational number. So we can express root 5 as root 5 equals to P by Q, where Q not equals to 0, P comma Q belongs to I, and HCF of P comma Q is 1. So all the conditions I have written here. So the conditions are Q should not be 0, both should be integers, and the highest common factor of P and Q should be 1, which is one of the most necessary condition for a number to be a rational number. So since this is rational number, HCF of P and Q will be 1. So we will be getting here as, after cross multiplication, P equals to root 5Q. Okay. Squaring both the sides, we will get P square equals to 5Q square. What we have done? Squaring both sides. So P square equals to 5Q square. One theorem just I said now, that if P is a prime number and if P divides A square, where A is any positive integer, then P also divides A. Similarly, if here P square equals to 5Q square, we can write as we can write here as 5 divides P square, and hence by that theorem we can write 5 divides P. So 5 divides P square, that means 5 divides P. One part is done here. Now if 5 divides P, we can write, if 5 divides P, we can also write, so we can write P equals to 5R, where R is also an integer. Okay, we can write that. That means squaring both the sides, we will get P square equals to 25R square. Squaring both the sides again. Now P square equals to 25R square. P square is here 5Q square. See, using this result, if I substitute the value of P square as 5Q square here, it will be 5Q square equals to 25R square, and this will give me Q square equals to 5R square. Now similarly, what I have concluded here, similarly if I apply the same method, that means that theorem if I apply here, I will get that 5 divides Q square. Since 5 divides Q square, 5 also divides Q. So we have reached here that if 5 divides Q square, 5 divides Q. So ultimately we get, finally we get what we got here, 5 divides P as well as 5 divides Q. That means 5 is a common factor of P and Q, but it not contradicts actually, but the HCF of P and Q was 1. While assuming that, while doing the assumption, we saw that the HCF of P and Q is 1. If it is written in the form of P by Q, then the HCF of P and Q is 1. But here see, what does it mean? If the HCF of P and Q is 1, it should not have any other factor more than 1. But I am saying here that it has common factor of P and Q other than 1, which is 5. So this contradicts our assumption. So we reached at an assumption, we reached at a contradiction. We reached at a contradiction. Because why we reached at the contradiction? We reached at our contradiction that HCF of P and Q is 1. We reach at a contradiction that HCF of P and Q is 1. It is because, we will write here, it is because our assumption was wrong. Assumption was wrong. Hence, so what was our assumption? Our assumption was it is a rational number, and we reached at a contradiction. That why we reached at the contradiction? Because our assumption was wrong. So finally we conclude that hence root 5 is not rational, it is irrational. That means whatever we have assumption we have done it before was actually wrong. Why it was wrong? Because we reach at one stage of the calculation where we are getting the HCF of where we are getting the common factor as 5, but our HCF of P and Q was only 1. So we reached at this assumption because we reached at the contradiction because our assumption was wrong, that root 5 is rational. Hence finally we conclude that root 5 is irrational. So this is the general way of proving any number, any irrational number as irrational. Now let us move on to our question number 2. Okay students, now let us move on to our next question number 2, where we are asked to prove 3 plus 2 root 5 as irrational. In the previous question we proved only root 5 as irrational. Process was quite different. The same concept will be used here also, that is assumption and contradiction, the method I am using here, but it will be a little bit different one. Okay, so just pay attention here how I am doing this one. So the same way I will do, like let us assume that 3 plus 2 root 5 is rational. Then it can be expressed as, if 3 plus 2 root 5 is rational, we can express 3 plus 2 root 5 is equals to P by Q, where Q not equals to 0, P comma Q belongs to integer, and P and Q are co-primes. That means HCF of P and Q is 1. So this is the condition which need to be followed. So see the calculation what I am doing here. 2 root 5 will be equals to P by Q minus 3. I have taken 3 that side. What will be the value of root 5? Root 5 will be equals to 2 will go there. That means P by 2Q minus 3 by 2. So I have got here the expression as root 5 equals to P by 2Q minus 3 by 2. Since P by 2Q and 3 by 2 is rational, you can just see that students, P by Q is no doubt rational, no doubt, and P by 2Q will also be a rational number only, because both are integers. So P by 2Q is rational. This is also rational, and 3 by 2 is already in the simplest form. This is also rational, and both are integers, so this is also rational. Ultimately, if P by 2Q is rational and if 3 by 2 is also rational, this will P by 2Q is rational, 3 by 2 is rational. So P by 2Q minus 3 by 2 is also rational. So if this is rational, this is rational. So this P by 2Q minus 3 by 2 is also rational. But if this is rational, root 5 should also be rational, because these both expressions are equal. That means RH is equal to LHS. That means whatever this is, this should be. So if this is rational, P by 2Q minus 3 by 2, root 5 should also be rational. Why? Because there is an equal to sign in between. So this implies root 5 should also be rational. Now, as we all know that root 5 is not rational, root 5 is irrational. But I am getting here, after the calculation, that conclusion is root 5 is rational. But it contradicts the fact, that root 5 is irrational. We are getting root 5 as rational here after the calculation, but it is contradicting the fact that root 5 is actually irrational. We reached at contradiction. Because our assumption was wrong. And what was our assumption? Our assumption was that 3 plus 2 root 5 is rational. Hence we can conclude finally after the contradiction that 3 plus 2 root 5 is irrational. So we can finally contradict the fact that 3 plus 2 root 5 is actually not rational, it is irrational. Hence we followed just the previous method only, but it was quite little bit different, as the expression of the question was not like root 5, was little bit different. So we applied a different method, but not that much different, quite similar, and it will be much easier and helpful for you to prove the statement like this as irrational. So students, our main topic of discussion for today was that what is irrational, what is rational, and if any mathematical expression or if any number is given to us to prove irrational, how will we be doing that? So students, with this hope that you have understood this all, your homework will be appearing in the next slide itself.